What's up everyone, Terraquake here, and welcome to what I believe is the final part here of our Pokemon Omega Ruby walkthrough. In the last episode, hunted down a couple more legendaries that were kind of scattered around the region, and now we're going to deal with some of the legendaries that can be found by soaring, using the soaring feature with either Latios or Latias. Now, I'm not going to be able to get all of them, and I'll sort of explain why as we go. But for now, in case you don't know how to get into the soaring feature, you're going to want to go and find your Eon Flute, which should be in your key items. You got it, I think, way back when we first saw Steven and, got the Mega Bracelet out at that island. What's that island called? Like Southern Island or something. And we are going to go after the Lake Trio Pokemon first, Azelf, Mesprit, and Uxie. And I'm actually already right above where I need to be. This is the Nameless Cavern. Now, this place will not appear if you don't have at least 3 Pokemon on your team with a max happiness stat. So make sure you've got that. I mean, you can see in this playthrough, I haven't done anything extra, and I've just, been using the same mons the whole time, and I have at least 3 that have max happiness, maybe even more. So, hopefully you do, unless you've really been switching your mons around and whatnot. But yeah, this is the Nameless Cavern. So again, these types of locations can only be accessed by soaring with Latios or Latias, depending on if you're playing Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire. But just come into the cavern, go ahead and reach into this portal right here, kind of like how we did with Ho-Oh in the last episode. And for me, this is going to be Mesprit, because it actually depends on what time you're playing. That kind of dictates which mon you're going to get. So Mesprit can be found between, I think it's 4 a.m. and 7:59 p.m. So more than likely this is the one you're going to be running into. Uxie is only between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. and Azelf is between 9 p.m. and 3:59 a.m. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a whole lot of Ultra Balls left, and I'll be honest, I don't have a whole lot of Pokédollars either. I spent, literally my last remaining Pokédollars on buying about, 30 more Ultra Balls, so I'm glad I saved. I'm definitely gonna be doing some cuts here and there, and we will try to go after this Mesprit. I think because I burned it, I'm just gonna go ahead and start chucking Ultra Balls. Okay, I got 56. But we have a lot of legendaries to go after today, so I'm hoping I can catch all of them. Worst case scenario, I suppose I can't. But yeah, all you can really do is, catch your first one and then just adjust your clock if you want to go get the other 2, which is what I'm going to try to do. Now, I think adjusting your clock works. If it doesn't, then that's kind of going to suck. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do a cut now because, I'm going to go ahead and cut ahead until I capture all 3, because there's no point in me jumping back in, saying, hey, I caught Mesprit, now I'm gonna go after Azelf, and then do another cut, so I will see y'all in a bit. And there we go, I just went ahead and caught Azelf. That was the 3rd one of the trio, and now someone's trying to get Ring Out. I'm good on that. I mean, this is the final episode. Movesets don't really matter at this point, I feel like. But yeah, there we go, there is Azelf. So once again, you can just change your clock after you catch one of them to go get the other 2. They're all in the PC now, but I actually need to go ahead and get them out because the next legendary is going to require us to, have all 3 of them in our party. And this is either going to be Palkia or Dialga. It's going to be Dialga if you're playing Alpha Sapphire, Palkia if you're playing Omega Ruby. Now, you actually need both Palkia and Dialga in order to have access to Giratina, meaning I won't be able to get Giratina in here, and that's kind of one of the first legendaries that is completely inaccessible for me. And while I'm getting the mons out of the PC and healing up, I might as well go ahead and explain the other ones I can't get. Virizion, Terrakion, and Cobalion, they're a similar situation to the trio we just caught. However, you need at least 3 Pokemon with max effort values, which I already checked, and I'm pretty sure I do not have, so that kind of, that does kind of suck for us, but it is what it is, I suppose. Let me go ahead and just, I don't know, I'm depositing Sceptile and Banette. Doesn't really matter. I didn't have to go through too many Ultra Balls, which was kind of nice. So yeah, I won't be able to get the Swords of Justice trio. And then there's also Zekrom and Reshiram. I think Reshiram is in Omega Ruby, and Zekrom's in Alpha Sapphire, but you need a mon that is level 100 in your party, and, clearly I don't have that. I guess I could have tried to take the time to grind someone to level 100, but then I feel like this video would not come out on time. So I can't get them, and because I can't get them, I won't be able to get Kirim either, because Kirim is only available if you have Zekrom and Reshiram in the party at the same time. Now, as we're coming over towards Dewford Town, if you have Azelf, Mesprit, Uxie in your party, you're going to see there's this giant rift in the sky right here. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and land somewhere wherever I am, because I need to go ahead and save. Just in case, because I can't remember, I think you might get straight into the battle up here, and I definitely want to be sure to save. As I said, I didn't really have to go through, like, too many Ultra Balls, which was kind of nice, catching those 3, so we're off to a good start. But anyways, let's go ahead and get back on our Mega Latios. I think it's the one I have. Now, I will not be able to get Latias, though, because you can only get the other Eon Pokemon if you have the Eon ticket, which was only available through, like, events and stuff back in the day. Let's go ahead and head into this rift. Again, this will be Palkia for us. So yeah, let's fly straight through here. You know, seems so safe, doesn't it? But no, here is Palkia. So yeah, this is going to be cool. Another legendary I can't get is Thundurus, because Thundurus is only available in Alpha Sapphire, and that means I cannot get Landorus either. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing what I've been doing, just trying to whittle this thing down. I've been using Yawn a bunch with Swalot. That was kind of my strategy there. And I'll do a cut here in a second. One more legendary I gotta say that I won't be able to get is Cresselia, because Cresselia can only appear on, I think it's what's the island called? Crescent Isle, I think. And it's one of those places that just has a really small chance of appearing. If you know anything about Mirage Island, it's kind of like that situation. I don't think it's as rare as Mirage Island, but yeah, I figured I'd be sitting here all day if I try to go for it. Other than that, though, after this, we will be able to get Tornadus, and we will be able to get the Legendary Beasts. Those are the other legendaries that we are going after. For now, though, it's time to get back to chucking Ultra Balls and hoping for the best. And we have now secured Palkia right there. That was not too bad either. Usually, I think, like, box art legendaries are, you know, they have a bit better of a chance to be captured, so there's that. Anyways, it's time to go after the next trio, which I said was the Legendary Beast. I can do that because all you need is to have either Logia, no, Ho-Oh or Lugia. Try to, like, combine their names there or something. Yeah, just one of them in your party. Now, I showed you how to get both of them in the last episode. Remember, they're basically just version exclusives. And then I think we're going to need to fly somewhere near Rustboro City. Is going to be where, you know, we'll see a little spot opened up called the Trackless Forest. And so I'll go ahead and switch out the party as well, of course. They also kind of have to do with time, just like the Lake Trio did. However, it just depends on how many minutes it is past the last hour. So I'll kind of explain that more in a second. Let me go ahead and make sure I put Ho-Oh on the team. It's gonna be cool seeing this giant box of legendaries, and then I have like a Lanoon mixed in there, and just all the little HM mons that I've used. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and, actually no, we can save once we get there. Yeah, definitely make sure you're saving before all of these, especially if you're kind of in a situation where I am, where, like, you know, you're somewhat limited on Ultra Balls. But yeah, we're gonna be going towards Rustboro City and looking for the Trackless Forest. I want to say it's east of Rustboro, I believe. So that's just going to be straight north of where we are, and you can actually see, I think that little orange glowing thing is, yeah, that is it. Usually those little orange glowing sparks in the sky are what you're looking for. So, yeah, this is based on how many minutes it is past the hour. So basically, if, you know, let's just say 2 o'clock, for instance, if it's 2 to 2:20, then you're going to be running into Raikou. If it's 2:20 to 2:40, that's going to be Entei, and Suicune is going to be like 2:40 to 3 o'clock. So that's kind of, you know, that's kind of the best way I can explain it. Anyways, I went ahead and saved. I think right now I'm going to be seeing Raikou. And similar to the Lake Trio, it's just going to be easier if I cut ahead to when I capture all 3. And then we'll be down to, like, the final, 2 legendaries, I think, which is pretty wild. Alright, funnily enough, I caught Entei and Suicune in a Great Ball. So, yeah, that kind of worked out in my favor. Still took a couple of attempts. But, yeah, I think I said we had 2 legendaries left. We actually only have 1. So this is going to be the final legend that we go after. We're going to go ahead and fly up to Fortree City and get the necessary Pokemon in our party. So, depending on which game you're playing, this is either going to be Tornadus or Thundurus. Tornadus and Omega Ruby, Thundurus and Alpha Sapphire. In order to access where they are, though, you need to have Castform on your team. So, yeah, I like how some of these other ones are like, oh yeah, you gotta have this powerful legendary trio, and then this one is just Castform. I guess that makes sense, though, with the whole, you know, weather trio and all that stuff. But yeah, after this, we will officially be done. This will be it for this series. As I was saying before, we kind of have everything. And you know what? I don't have Castform, because I don't think I had a room in my party when I went to the Weather Institute. Well, at least we're already here, so let's go ahead and take a detour there. Okay, that's low-key kind of funny. But yeah, the next series is either going to be Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon. There's kind of like one factor determining which one I'm going to play, which I still got to check. I might do that later today or tomorrow. I would like to try to start it on Friday, but honestly, I'm not too sure. So there's a chance this week that there's 2 Pokemon Glazed episodes going up on Wednesday and Friday. And then we start it next week. You know, we start the Alola walkthrough next week. I'll see, though. It kind of depends on how much time I have. I'm going to go ahead and prepare 2 Pokemon Glazed episodes just in case. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and make y'all aware of that, because, I mean, of course, this is the last episode of Omega Ruby. And again, you know, it does kind of stink that there were some legendaries I couldn't get, but literally, I mean, I don't have the ability to trade, and, you know, as I said, I don't have a level 100 Mon on my team. But yeah, now Castform is already on the squad, and, okay, I do have Swalot still in the party. I just wanted to make sure that I, you know, don't deposit him, because he's been the one with Yawn this whole time. The only reason why I'm catching some of these powerful legendaries. Yeah, with any legendaries, I mean, again, just to make sure, you know, you try to put some kind of status effect on them. You know, sleeper paralysis, I think, are the best. But yeah, with Castform in your party, you're going to want to come right above Fortree City, and over here, there's going to be a big old thunderstorm going on, and this is where they are going to be hanging out. So, yeah, let's just, you know, go ahead and make the decision to fly straight into a giant, violent thunderstorm. And there is Tornadus. So, yeah, this is going to be our only Unova legendary that we're able to get, but that's fine with me. Gonna go ahead and keep on doing the same things, but as I'm here, I just really appreciate y'all coming along with me in this series. Yeah, 53 episodes, pretty solid length. And, okay, the special defense drop is actually kind of bad, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, let's go into Swalot now. But yeah, you know, it was good revisiting Hoenn again, but it's time to move on to Alola after this, so hopefully y'all are looking for that one. Of course, we still got Pokemon Glazed going on, and that's kind of coming to the end. We still, I mean, the post-game is just so big there, definitely bigger than this game. But yeah, I think we've covered everything to do in the post-game, so really nothing else that I need to do. I mean, we're the champions after all. The only other thing I can do is like rematch the Elite Four champion, but I've never really done that in any of these walkthroughs. And okay, first Ultra Ball would have kind of just been fitting, but nah, bro had to come along and ruin that. And there is Tornadus, the final legendary of this episode and of this series. So we're gonna fly back down to Fortree real quick, because I always like to, by the way, you could go in reverse when you're on the Mega Latios or Latias, which I think is pretty funny. You know, we're like backing it up. We need like some brake lights on this guy. But yeah, I always like to go back to the PC and look at all the legendaries that I caught. And honestly, with how many you can catch in this game, you can almost get like a full box of legendaries, especially if you get some like traded over and whatnot. But yeah, as I was saying, just thank you so much for joining me on this journey. We'll be starting Alola pretty darn soon, as I said, maybe on Friday, if not, definitely next week. There will definitely still be some Pokemon Glazed episodes going up, but here we go. We had Latios was our first one, then there's our random Lanoon, Groudon, Rayquaza during the Delta episode, Totodile, here's a Wailord that, yeah, that was Dive, I'm pretty sure. Deoxys, which is also from the Delta episode, also the highest leveled Mon, all the way up at level 80. There's Tepig, Tentacruel, which I think I used for Waterfall. Relicanth, of course, we had to have for the Regis, which, speaking of, there's Regirock, Regice, Registeel, my favorite of the threes all the way down here. And then some of the legendaries that we caught, you know, 2 episodes ago, and now this video. Or no, 1 episode ago, and now this video. And then Magcargo. Okay, I should, you know, go ahead and end off with having my full team in the party. Yeah, this team was a lot of fun to use. I've never used, like, a Grumpig, or Swalot, or Banette, or Magcargo, but really glad that all of them, I think, performed pretty darn well. So, yeah, really enjoyed doing this walkthrough, and, I mean, who knows when we'll ever come back to Hoenn, because there has been no other new Hoenn game since Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But for now, I do hope y'all enjoyed this walkthrough. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, deuces.